Thank you for joining us. This is Enchufate on Lumpen Radio. I'm Sandra Trevino, and we are happy, joyous on this beautiful Friday afternoon in Bridgeport, visiting us all the way from the north side of town. Eryx Paxton. Eryx, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much for having me. I'm very excited.
I'm excited to have you here too. We actually met on Threats.
Yes.
Officially meeting today for the first time, but how did it feel to see something like that? Have you tried before to reach out to maybe like local media outlets or something? How has that experience been before this?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of kind of like hopeless ambition that goes into it. You see something online, you go for it, knowing it's a shot in the dark for the most part. So getting that response from you has definitely made my day, made my week. It was
Did
great.
you believe it?
Not at first, no, not until I actually heard the song on the radio. The entire time I was like, this isn't gonna go through, but
really?
yeah, but it did,
Yeah.
and now we're here.
I'm so happy for you and for me because we get to listen to your music. So let's go back a little bit. Tell me about, I'd like to ask this question first. What was the first song or situation where you had that spark for music?
It was probably back in high school. I think like a lot of kids, freestyling with my friends. I ended up getting really obsessed in it to where I was doing it every single day. And I was making songs about every week, but never took it professionally or seriously enough to do anything with. As I got older, went into college, started recording more in studios. And then in these past 4 to 5 months, that's when I really just went all in.
Mm-hmm.
The creative expression and freedom that I get from it is like no other industry out there. So that was really the click for me.
Has hip hop always been like the focus of your music?
Hip hop's been the focus of my music, but my inspirations definitely vary from hip hop organically.
Like, what is that?
So the Beatles, Frank Sinatra, but also my biggest influence being Mac Miller and the styles of music that I deliver.
Okay. What pushed you to get to that point where I'm gonna get this equipment, I'm gonna do this? Were you writing before already and just like kind of seeing where it might go?
Yeah, so I had quite a few friends who I made actual songs with. We had planned to release them, but nothing ever went through. And I was writing songs almost every week. Then, like I said, within the past 4 to 5 months, I just really got into it. I wrote one song that I enjoyed a lot and just kept doing it day after day after day. I don't think I've taken a break since then. But yeah, ever since then, I've just been rolling.
Have you always been a writer or used writing to express yourself?
So myself personally, no, but both of my parents are writers, so I'm sure that trickles down somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as myself, I've always enjoyed music to be the expressor, whereas my parents enjoyed writing, so it's a nice mesh.
What do they think about what you're doing?
They like
know?
it. Yeah, they know about the music. They enjoy it. They're very supportive. They don't understand the music that I make, but that's fine, different generations.
Right. As you started to work in this industry, what is like, this is like your first interview on the radio and the first music that comes out here.
Correct.
How long did it take you to have this? Like the 6 months you said, kind of?
Yes, yeah.
Well, you're lucky, aren't you?
Lucky, it's a word. I think my friends and my parents can attest to it. I spend about like 8 hours every day working on my music. Yeah, it's very nonstop for me. So
it's where you find yourself in the zone. And
yes, yeah.
what is your writing about?
It's about just being a human. However I wake up feeling that day is how I write. So sometimes it can seem a little contradicting, but one day I might not be feeling the best, a little blue, so the songs will come out more blue, but the next day or a couple more days I might feel really energetic, chaotic, so I make a song that's energetic and chaotic. I just kind of like using it as a documentation process for myself and for anyone else who feels like how I do. It's a good way to look back and see your growth in a different avenue than most.
When you create a song, does the music come first or the writing?
So originally, before I started self-producing, the music came first. I would just choose a beat on YouTube and then go with that. But as I've been producing more myself, the lyrics come first. I've noticed that if I write something, it's a lot easier for me to format it in whatever I want to make, because then I can attune the music to what I've written.
How did you know that you were good at this?
Ooh. I think by the point that I made 300 songs in like 3 months, I realized that there had to be something there, or else I wouldn't be able to keep going and keep going. And now the fact that I'm on my sophomore album is, a pretty good sign to me that I have something here. I'm not sure fully when everyone else will see it, but I know there is something.
Mm-hmm.
There is something. I have a good little cult following, so
Yeah.
yes.
Have you had performances yet?
I've not had performances yet. That is something I'm looking into with my college, Columbia University here in Chicago. Just we can do events for everyone and stuff like that. So.
And do you want to perform here?
I would love to if
Yes,
that's an
nice.
opportunity. Yes, of course.
Eryx Paxton. Tell me about the name.
So Eryx is a Greek god, or the son of a Greek god, something to do with boxing. That is a little. My name is Eddie, and I didn't want to use my original name as my stage name, but I also didn't want to lose the E. I always liked being Eddie and having an E in my name, but I wanted something that rolled off the tongue a little better, so I went with Eryx. And then I was looking up a bunch of names. Paxton came up, which means peace settlement.
Okay.
And I went with it for that purpose of just the peace. I like that idea of there being some sort of peace around my music.
Yeah, for sure. Why don't we listen to one of the tracks that you brought for us today? What do you think? Which one should we hear first?
Let's do Autopilot first.
How do you feel listening to your music on the radio?
It's always a good feeling to hear it through a medium that is not provided by myself.
Yeah,
it always sounds different, sounds better, which is good.
Nice. I enjoyed that. I like the beats and the
Thank
rhythm and the words. I like what you said about the little girls with their charms.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool because everyone's wearing charms.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to you to see that? Right. When you're writing this music and talking about whatever happens, right? Is there any particular moment you feel like you have to talk about anything that's going on in the world right now?
I think it's a difficult place. Obviously, in this song, I intertwine quite a couple ideas that address what is happening, but it's
more subtle.
Yeah, I would say more subtle. I think it's harder to just go full at it. Not in terms of response being bad, but it's just a riskier place to go. Whereas with this, like, you can throw in little subtle cues of like, oh wow, like like the tear apart our Constitution lines, things like that, pointing you in the direction of.
Right. I like that. Do you feel at all like it's a controversial topic that artists should use their platform to speak out politically?
Yes, I think artists should be able to open up politically. I understand the two sides of it, one being, if you say the wrong thing that part of the group doesn't like and they leave, oh no, there's part of your following. I'm small enough to where I can do that and not face too much consequence for it, and also build something around real, genuine people like-minded to myself. So in that scenario, yes, but I do understand bigger scale artists straying away from it sometimes.
What are you studying at Columbia?
I am in the music production program, yes.
Because I was going to say, how did you learn how to so quickly start making your own music?
Yeah, I think, like I've said, it definitely comes from all the repetition that I've had, just locking myself in the garage or in my bedroom and, just not stopping. Or at school, in between my classes, they have studios and production rooms there. So I've done my best to try to use those every single day, or if there's another student who's better than me, which is a good amount of them, I use them and soak it up like a sponge, figure out what they're doing so I can put it into my own work.
In your generation, is there hope within the music industry? Or how are y'all feeling?
I think it's a mixed batch. I think a lot of people are hopeful, but I think a lot of people are fearful, especially come with AI and anything like that has taken the human factor out of music. That's a very dangerous area to play around with. A study came out actually a couple weeks ago that said 97% of music listeners could not tell if a song was AI or not, which is a great stat for, you know, an up-and-coming artist. But I've always had hope that there's still enough people out there who like human music, things that feel just like someone else has written it. So
It sounds so weird to say who like human music,
right.
but it's so
Yeah.
true, you know. It's hard. I can't imagine that happening now. I did notice, I was looking for music and I did notice this new artist, and I was like, oh, who is this? I haven't heard of it. And then I realized this is one of those AI artists. How?
Right?
It's what's the word? Not confusing, but it's frustrating and it angers me.
Yes.
I feel fooled. I feel bamboozled. So I can't imagine what artists who are trying to do this and get out there, and it's so saturated, and now you're saturating it more. What do you think is the point?
What do I think is the point of AI music?
Or these AI artists to kick real artists out?
I don't think it's to kick real artists out. I think there's a good amount of people who are really talented and can make music, but sometimes the one thing that's stopping them is their production side, their vocal side, to make that an easier fit for themselves into the game. They use AI, and that's where it becomes such a gray line of, is this really detrimental to our industry or not? Because if you can use it in a beneficial but transparent way, I think that's where the biggest difference comes from, is the transparency or lack thereof.
More so the artist, whoever's creating these AI artists, what is their goal, do you think?
Now, on their side, that might be more so to sweep out the rest of the industry.
Because that AI artist is making money.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
potentially, right?
Yes.
Oh my lord. But I'm glad that you guys are kind of still navigating.
We're trying, you know.
Trying and now with also like the push out of kind of radio, we're still here, but we're so getting like more and more. There's less of us. I don't know. It feels interesting. That's why I always say, and I don't mind whoever has their music on Spotify, but don't send me that link. I'm not gonna go that way.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I feel that you all deserve more than what's being put out there. And even though the industry is, I feel easier than I was when I was working with it. I managed a band 15, 20 years ago.
Nice.
It was, it feels way easier to get the stuff out there, but at the same time now it's so saturated and so picky in a way.
Yes.
Less outlets and stuff, so there's less opportunities.
Yeah, it's a
Kind
weird
of,
middle
yeah.
ground. There's so much opportunity, but it feels so defeating to like even
Yeah.
try to get into the ring.
Right, but also, like you said, you guys are still hopeful, and there's still these independent scenes, which I think we should be more open to supporting, and because the big monopolies of music are still out there doing their stuff.
Right.
Anywho, let's talk about good things. Why don't we listen to another song? What's the concept of landing empty airplanes?
Landing empty airplanes is a foreshadowing concept project. I get so inside my music and my creation when I make it that I isolate myself off from the whole world. And with all of that, while creating this project, there's been a lingering feeling that that isolation is going to help lead me to building something bigger in the future. And it's a little grim, but it's just showing that so far the isolation has been paying off.
Okay.
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
How do you think it's going to be when you leave that isolation to be in front of like so many people and leave that comfort? And have you practiced in front of many people, or how do you feel about that?
No, I haven't practiced in front of a lot of people, but I feel it's going to be a very fun escape.
Mm-hmm.
All the time that I have spent inside, isolated, I break free in social scenarios,
Okay.
and especially if there's one where a bunch of people are looking at me to hear my music, that'll be a little more freeing,
Yeah.
and I'm finally here, I did
Mhm.
it, that kind of feeling. So
Nice. Where can people find your music?
on all platforms from Spotify to Deezer under the name Eryx Paxton.
Nice. And this album is already out,
Yes,
and you're already working on the second album
correct.
for summer, fall.
There's not really a deadline currently.
Mm-hmm.
Hopes are within the next 2 months getting something a little more solidified, but definitely having a summer energy to it.
Yes, and ready to hit the stages.
Yes.
So if people will want to reach out to you to perform, where could they reach you?
They can reach out to me on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, yes, any social media, also under Eryx Paxton.
Nice. What is the social media outlet that you most use?
I love YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, YouTube has been where I've created my biggest following.
Okay.
And
Nice.
the quickest as well.
Really?
Yes, a lot of good supportive people over there. A lot of these other social medias, it's very quick for judgment.
Yeah.
YouTube has been the one place that kind of lifts up. So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. That's amazing to hear. Do you just use your phone to do this stuff?
Yes, primarily it'll just be my phone recording.
Mm-hmm.
I've still some stuff to figure out with videographers at school.
Okay.
So, yeah, that'll be the next
I'm
step.
glad you're there, though, because everyone kind of, probably works together on projects and stuff.
Yes.
Nice. Well, Eryx, thank you for joining me today here on Enchufate on Lumpen Radio. It's been a pleasure. And we're going to end it with Blue Rooms. Anything else you would like to add before we say goodbye?
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
And yeah, here's to many more years.
Excellent. This was Eryx Paxton. Thanks for joining us here on Enchufate on Lumpen Radio. We're going to listen to Blue Rooms, and we'll be back.